When we talk about the power of patience, we must recognize how stepping back can be one of the most strategic moves we can make in our relationships and our lives. In our fast-paced world, there's a tendency to react immediately, to jump into action, or to voice our opinions without taking a moment to think. But what if we took a different approach? What if, instead of responding in the heat of the moment, we chose to step back and observe? Imagine a scenario where you've been faced with a conflict or misunderstanding. The natural inclination is often to address it head on, to defend your position, or to clarify your intentions. However, when you take a step back, you allow the dust to settle. This pause creates space, not just for you to gather your thoughts, but for the other person to process their emotions as well. It's in this quiet moment that true understanding can emerge. Patience is a powerful teacher. When we step back, we're giving ourselves the gift of time to reflect on the situation and to consider the other person's perspective. Often, we find that when we allow a little distance, we can see things more clearly. Our emotions settle, and we're able to think rationally about what really matters. This is where growth happens. Think about how often we react out of frustration or hurt, only to later realize that our initial response wasn't rooted in our true feelings, but rather in the heat of the moment. By exercising patience and stepping back, we create the opportunity to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Additionally, this approach allows others the chance to reflect on their actions and words. When you don't engage immediately, you create a pause in the conversation. This moment can lead to realizations on both sides. The other person may start to understand the weight of their words or the impact of their actions. They may come to appreciate the importance of the relationship more deeply when they realize that you are not just readily available to chase after them or to fight for their attention. Patience teaches us about our own value. By stepping back, we're not just waiting, we're demonstrating that we understand our worth. We're saying, I am not desperate for validation or a quick fix. I know that true connections take time and effort. This realization can be incredibly empowering. It reinforces the idea that relationships should not be one-sided. Moreover, patience is often rewarded. When you allow space for others to come forward, it tests their commitment. If they genuinely care about you, they will reach out, they will make an effort to reconnect. Those who don't may reveal themselves to be less invested, and this clarity can be freeing. It's a way to sift through the noise and identify who truly values your presence in their life. In many ways, patience is an act of faith. It's believing that good things come to those who wait, that relationships can heal and grow when given the right conditions. When we practice patience, we open the door for authentic interactions. We allow others the chance to step up and show us who they truly are. As you navigate through your relationships, remember that stepping back isn't about disengagement. It's about creating a space for genuine connection. It's about valuing yourself enough to know that your energy is precious. When you invest that energy wisely, it pays dividends in the form of deeper, more meaningful relationships. So the next time you find yourself in a challenging situation, consider the power of patience. Take a step back, stay silent, and observe what unfolds. You might be surprised at the clarity that comes and the true intentions that reveal themselves. Trust in the process and watch as those who genuinely care come running back to you. Creating space for reflection is one of the most profound benefits of stepping back in our interactions and relationships. In our fast-paced world, we often find ourselves caught in a whirlwind of emotions and responsibilities, rarely pausing to reflect on our thoughts and feelings. But what if we took a moment to create that space? What if we intentionally chose silence over chatter, reflection over reaction? When we step back, we give ourselves permission to breathe, to think, and to process. This pause is not merely about physical distance, it's about emotional and mental distance too. In that space, we begin to sift through our feelings, gaining clarity about what we truly want and need. So have you ever found yourself in a heated moment, only to later realize that your feelings were a blend of anxiety, fear, and perhaps a misunderstanding? By creating that space for reflection, you allow yourself the time to untangle those emotions and reach a place of understanding. Imagine a situation where you've had a disagreement with a friend or a loved one. The natural inclination may be to jump into a conversation to resolve the issue immediately. However, by stepping back and giving both parties some time, you create an environment conducive to genuine reflection. This doesn't just benefit you, it also gives the other person the chance to think about their actions and words. It allows them to evaluate their feelings and consider your perspective without the pressure of an immediate response. This reflection is crucial for growth. When we take the time to reflect, we can better understand our triggers, our needs, and our aspirations. It helps us distinguish between what is truly important and what is a fleeting emotion. In relationships, this understanding can make a significant difference. Instead of holding on to grudges or misunderstandings, reflection allows us to move forward with clarity and purpose. In the process of reflection, we might discover patterns in our behavior or in our relationships that we hadn't noticed before. Perhaps we realize that we have a tendency to chase after people who aren't invested in us, or that we often engage in relationships that drain our energy rather than uplift it. By creating that space, we gain the insight needed to make healthier choices moving forward. Let's not forget that reflection also fosters empathy. When we take a step back, we create an opportunity to view situations from multiple angles. We start to see the other person as a whole individual with their own fears, insecurities, and aspirations. This empathy can soften our hearts and deepen our connections. When we understand where others are coming from, we are less likely to react defensively and more likely to respond compassionately. Moreover, the silence that comes with stepping back often leads to a deeper awareness of ourselves. In that quiet space, we might uncover desires that have been overshadowed by the noise of our daily lives. Perhaps we find clarity on what truly matters to us, what our values are, and what we want to prioritize. This self-awareness is invaluable as it guides us in making decisions that align with our authentic selves. Reflection is also an essential ingredient for healing. If we've been hurt or let down in the past, taking the time to reflect allows us to process those experiences fully. It provides an opportunity to acknowledge our feelings, to grieve, and ultimately to heal. When we rush into conversations or decisions without this processing, we risk carrying unresolved pain into our future interactions. But when we embrace reflection, we create a pathway toward healing and growth. So as we navigate our relationships and life's challenges, let's remember the importance of creating space for reflection. When you step back and allow yourself the time to think, you not only enrich your understanding of yourself, but also deepen your connections with others. Embrace that silence as a powerful tool for growth and healing. It may just be the key to transforming your relationships and fostering a deeper sense of peace within yourself. Understanding true value in relationships is a vital aspect of stepping back and allowing the dynamics of connection to unfold naturally. Too often, we find ourselves overextending our efforts, chasing after people who may not fully appreciate us. This pursuit can leave us feeling depleted and unvalued, yet when we take a step back, we can create the conditions for others to truly recognize our worth. When we are constantly available, always eager to engage, it can send the message that we're willing to accept less than we deserve. It's like shining a light on ourselves, but if that light is blinding, others may overlook the brilliance it reveals. By stepping back, we dim that light just enough to encourage others to take a closer look. This creates a space where they must actively seek us out, fostering an environment where they can truly understand and appreciate what we bring to the table. The act of stepping back isn't about playing games or manipulating feelings. It's about valuing ourselves enough to let others do the chasing. Think about the relationships in your life. Who are the people who actively pursue you? These individuals often recognize your worth and value your presence. When we allow ourselves to take a step back, we give those people the opportunity to demonstrate that appreciation, to come running when they realize what they might lose. This process can be incredibly revealing. When we withdraw our energy, we begin to see who truly values us for who we are. It's a natural filtration system, separating those who genuinely care from those who might be in our lives out of convenience. Those who take the time and effort to reach out, to express their desire to reconnect, are often the ones who recognize our true value. They understand that we are not just a placeholder in their lives, but someone worthy of attention, respect, and love. Moreover, this period of stepping back allows us to reflect on our own needs and desires. It encourages us to think critically about what we want in our relationships. Are we seeking validation? Are we looking for companionship? Or are we yearning for meaningful connections that inspire growth and mutual respect? By creating that space, we have the opportunity to realign our priorities and set standards that reflect our true worth. This self-awareness is crucial. It helps us establish boundaries that define how we want to be treated. When we know our worth, we're less likely to tolerate behavior that diminishes it. Instead of waiting for others to recognize us, we begin to cultivate a sense of self-worth that doesn't rely on external validation. We become the architects of our self-esteem, constructing a solid foundation built on knowing who we are and what we deserve. And it's also important to realize that stepping back can enhance our relationships in unexpected ways. When we give people space to come to us, we allow them the opportunity to miss us, to recognize what they might be taking for granted. This can lead to a deeper appreciation of the bond we share. It's like stepping off the stage for a moment to let the audience truly absorb what they've been witnessing. When we return, the applause is more genuine, the connection is more profound. Additionally, by understanding our true value, we become better equipped to identify relationships that are reciprocal. When we step back and allow others to pursue us, we create a dynamic where both parties are invested. This balance fosters healthier relationships built on mutual respect and appreciation. We're not just waiting for validation, we're inviting genuine connections that enrich our lives. Ultimately, understanding true value is about self-empowerment. It's about acknowledging that we are deserving of love, respect, and admiration, and that those who cannot see that do not deserve a place in our lives. When we recognize our worth, we stop chasing after fleeting connections and instead cultivate relationships that are fulfilling and meaningful. So as you step back and watch those around you, take this opportunity to reflect on your own value. Allow the right people to come running and recognize that your worth is inherent. Embrace the understanding that you are not just another option for others. You are a unique individual who deserves to be seen, appreciated, and loved for exactly who you are. Establishing healthy boundaries is essential in any relationship, and stepping back can be a powerful strategy for achieving this balance. We live in a world that often pushes us to be available at all times, to say yes to every request, and to stretch ourselves thin for others. Yet this approach can lead to feelings of resentment and burnout. When we learn to step back, we allow ourselves the opportunity to establish boundaries that protect our time, energy, and emotional well-being. Boundaries are not just about saying no, they are about creating a clear understanding of what is acceptable and what is not. When we step back, we create space for ourselves to reflect on our limits. What do we tolerate in our relationships? What behaviors make us uncomfortable? By taking the time to consider these questions, we can start to define the boundaries that resonate with our values and needs. I think of it this way: if we do not define our boundaries, we run the risk of allowing others to dictate our time and energy. It's easy to fall into the trap of trying to please everyone, but this often comes at a significant cost to ourselves. When we prioritize others' needs over our own, we can lose sight of who we are and what we truly want. This is where stepping back becomes crucial. It gives us the opportunity to reassess our priorities and ensure that we are not compromising our well-being for the sake of others. Once we establish those boundaries, it's vital to communicate them clearly. Stepping back creates a moment for clarity, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. When we express our boundaries, we set the stage for healthy interactions. It signals to others that we value our time and energy, and we encourage them to respect that. Healthy boundaries create a sense of safety in our relationships, allowing us to engage more authentically without fear of being taken advantage of. Moreover, healthy boundaries empower us to cultivate relationships based on mutual respect. When we take the time to establish what we need, we invite others to do the same. This exchange fosters an environment where both parties feel valued and heard. It encourages open communication, and when we express our needs, we give others the opportunity to share theirs. This reciprocity can transform relationships, leading to deeper connections grounded in understanding. As we navigate the process of setting boundaries, it's essential to remain flexible. Stepping back doesn't mean shutting others out. It means creating a framework for engagement that honors our limits while still allowing room for connection. Life is dynamic and relationships can evolve. By being open to revisiting our boundaries as circumstances change, we can maintain healthy relationships that adapt to our growth. Establishing healthy boundaries also means recognizing when those boundaries have been crossed. It's important to be attuned to our feelings and to trust our instincts. If we feel discomfort or unease in a situation, it may be a signal that our boundaries are not being respected. Stepping back allows us the time to assess the situation and respond appropriately. We can choose to communicate our feelings and reinforce our boundaries, or we may decide that it's necessary to distance ourselves from relationships that do not honor our needs. This journey toward establishing healthy boundaries can also teach us valuable lessons about self-advocacy. By stepping back, we empower ourselves to advocate for our needs. We become our own champions. And we learn that our needs are just as important as those of others. This shift in mindset can significantly impact our overall well-being, enhancing our self-esteem and fostering a deeper sense of self-worth. Furthermore, when we model healthy boundaries, we inspire others to do the same. We create a culture of respect where everyone feels encouraged to express their needs and limits. This can lead to healthier dynamics, not only in our personal relationships, but also in our professional lives. In a workplace that values boundaries, productivity increases and employee satisfaction improves. When people feel respected and valued, they are more likely to thrive. In closing, establishing healthy boundaries through the practice of stepping back is a transformative process. It allows us to reclaim our time and energy, encourages open communication, and fosters relationships grounded in mutual respect. As you navigate your interactions, remember that boundaries are a reflection of self-respect. By defining and communicating them, you create a healthier space for yourself and those around you. So take that step back, honor your needs, and watch as your relationships transform for the better. Practicing self-care is not just a luxury, it's a vital necessity for maintaining our mental, emotional, and physical health. In a world that often demands our attention and energy from every direction, stepping back gives us the opportunity to prioritize ourselves and engage in practices that nourish our well-being. When we take time for self-care, we acknowledge that we are worthy of love and attention, and that our needs are just as important as anyone else's. Self-care can take many forms, from simple acts of kindness toward ourselves to more structured routines that promote our overall health. It might mean taking a quiet moment to reflect and recharge, engaging in a hobby that brings us joy, or ensuring that we get enough rest. These moments of self-care serve as reminders that we are not merely here to serve others, we are also deserving of care and compassion. One of the most profound aspects of self-care is its role in enhancing our resilience. When we take the time to nurture ourselves, we build a stronger foundation for coping with life's challenges. Imagine yourself as a well-tended garden. When we water and nourish the soil, the plants flourish. In contrast, neglecting our own needs can leave us feeling drained and unprepared for the difficulties we inevitably encounter. By stepping back and investing in self-care, we ensure that we are equipped to face those challenges with strength and clarity. Engaging in self-care also fosters a deeper connection with ourselves. In our busy lives, we often lose sight of our own desires and feelings. When we step back, we can reflect on what truly matters to us. This period of introspection allows us to explore our passions, interests, and goals. It's a time to ask ourselves important questions. What do I want? What makes me happy? What brings me fulfillment? By taking the time to answer these questions, we can realign our lives with our true selves. Moreover, prioritizing self-care can enhance our relationships. When we are filled with self-love and care, we are better equipped to show up for others. Imagine being in a situation when you're running on empty, constantly giving without replenishing your own reserves. It can lead to frustration and resentment, both toward ourselves and the people in our lives. However, when we take the time to care for ourselves, we approach our relationships with renewed energy and positivity. We can engage more fully, listen more attentively, and offer our support without feeling depleted. Self-care also teaches us the importance of balance. Life is often about finding that equilibrium between our responsibilities and our personal needs. When we prioritize self-care, we set an example for those around us, encouraging them to do the same. We create an environment where everyone understands that taking time for oneself is not selfish, it's necessary. This shift in mindset can lead to healthier relationships and a culture of mutual respect where everyone's needs are valued. As we engage in self-care, it's crucial to recognize that it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Each person's journey is unique, and what works for one individual may not resonate with another. Therefore, stepping back allows us the freedom to explore various self-care practices and discover what genuinely nourishes our souls. This could be anything from practicing mindfulness and meditation to engaging in physical activities that promote health and wellness. It's about finding what brings us joy and peace and incorporating those practices into our lives. Additionally, the act of prioritizing self-care can be empowering. When we take control of our well-being, we send a powerful message to ourselves and others we are deserving of care and attention. This empowerment can ripple through every aspect of our lives, reinforcing our self-worth and confidence. As we invest in our well-being, we develop a sense of agency that enables us to advocate for ourselves, set boundaries, and engage in relationships that reflect our values. Finally, remember that self-care is not a destination, it's an ongoing journey. Life will always present challenges and distractions, but by consistently making self-care a priority, we cultivate resilience and strength. When we regularly step back to recharge, we are better equipped to navigate life's ups and downs. We embrace the idea that taking time for ourselves is not just an occasional indulgence, but a fundamental part of living a balanced and fulfilling life. So as you consider the importance of practicing self-care, remember that you have the right to prioritize your well-being. Step back from the chaos, engage in activities that nourish your spirit, and make a commitment to care for yourself. This investment in your well-being will not only benefit you, but will also enhance the quality of your relationships and the life you lead. Embrace the journey of self-care and watch as it transforms your life in ways you never thought possible. You said, expend key point 6 in 8 minutes, according to prompt, without any heading and flow speech, naturally according to overall key points, and add only necessary ending line. ChatGPT said, ChatGPT. When we talk about the idea that the right people will find you, we are delving into the profound truth that authentic connections are built on mutual respect, shared values, and genuine understanding. Often we find ourselves in a frenzy, chasing after relationships or trying to fit into circles that may not align with who we truly are. This chase can lead to superficial connections and a feeling of emptiness. However, we step back and allow life to unfold. We create space for the right relationships to enter our lives organically. The process of attracting the right people begins with knowing ourselves. This is not just a superficial understanding, it's about diving deep into our values, beliefs, and desires. When we take the time to reflect on who we are, we gain clarity about what we want in our relationships. This clarity becomes a guiding light, attracting individuals who resonate with our authentic selves. Imagine standing firm in your truth. This creates a magnetic pull for those who share similar values and aspirations. Being authentic in our interactions is crucial. When we step back and stop the frantic pursuit of approval or connection, we give ourselves the freedom to be genuine. This authenticity invites others to do the same. Think about the moments when you've encountered someone who is unapologetically themselves. There's a certain magnetism in their confidence and honesty. By embracing our true selves, we create an environment where meaningful connections can flourish. The right people are drawn to authenticity, seeking relationships built on trust and understanding. Furthermore, when we stop chasing and instead focus on self-improvement and growth, we naturally elevate our circle. As we cultivate our interests, passions, and skills, we begin to attract those who are on a similar journey. This shared commitment to growth fosters a sense of camaraderie and support. The right people, those who align with our aspirations, will gravitate towards us, recognizing the energy we radiate when we engage in our own growth. It's also essential to recognize that relationships take time to develop. In our fast-paced world, we often rush into connections without fully understanding the other person. By stepping back, we allow relationships to unfold naturally. This patience pays off as we witness the organic development of bonds based on shared experiences and mutual understanding. The right individuals will emerge, revealing themselves through consistent interactions and genuine care. Moreover, when we focus on attracting the right people, we are less likely to settle for unhealthy dynamics. The act of stepping back from pursuing relationships provides us with the perspective to evaluate who is truly worthy of our time and energy. We begin to recognize our worth and understand that we don't need to force connections or compromise our values. This realization empowers us to let go of relationships that do not serve us, opening up space for those who will appreciate and respect us. Trusting the timing of our lives is also a critical aspect of this journey. There may be moments when it feels like we are alone or that we are not surrounded by the right people. However, it's essential to trust that the universe has its way of aligning us with the right connections when the time is right. Each experience, whether positive or negative, shapes us and prepares us for the relationships we are meant to have. By embracing this journey and being patient, we create fertile ground for the right people to find us. As we navigate this path, it's important to maintain an open heart and mind. While we may have specific qualities or traits we desire in our relationships, remaining flexible allows us to be surprised by the connections that come our way. The right people might not always fit into the mold we have created in our minds. By staying open, we invite diverse perspectives and experiences that can enrich our lives in ways we never anticipated. Additionally, fostering a sense of community can further attract the right people into our lives. Engaging in activities that reflect our passions and interests allows us to meet like-minded individuals naturally. Whether it's joining clubs, attending workshops, or volunteering, these spaces often serve as breeding grounds for meaningful connections. When we participate in communities that align with our values, we increase the likelihood of encountering those who resonate with our journey. Finally, remember that this process is about quality over quantity. It's easy to get caught up in the notion that we need to have a wide network of friends or acquaintances. However, the right people often manifest in the form of deep, meaningful connections rather than the superficial ones. By stepping back, embracing our authentic selves, and allowing life to unfold, we create the space for genuine relationships to develop. In conclusion, when we stop chasing after relationships and allow the right people to find us, we create the conditions for deeper, more fulfilling connections. Trust in the process. Invest in your own growth and watch as the right individuals are drawn to you. Authenticity and self-awareness will guide you to the relationships you deserve, ensuring that you surround yourself with those who uplift, support, and resonate with your true self. When we talk about stepping back, staying silent, and watching them come running, it's essential to understand the beauty of self-awareness. This process begins with recognizing our own needs, desires, and emotional states. In a world that often pressures us to constantly engage and connect, it's easy to lose sight of our own feelings amidst the noise. However, taking a step back allows us to tune into ourselves, creating an opportunity for genuine growth and understanding. Self-awareness is a powerful tool. It acts as a mirror, reflecting back our true selves, helping us understand who we are and what we genuinely want from life and from others. When we engage in self-reflection, we become aware of our strengths, weaknesses, and triggers. This knowledge not only empowers us, but also guides our interactions with others. We learn to identify the situations and people that drain us, as well as those that uplift and inspire us. By understanding our emotional landscape, we can make conscious choices about who to invest our time and energy in. Moreover, self-awareness cultivates emotional intelligence, which is critical in forming healthy relationships. When we understand our emotions, we can communicate them effectively, avoiding misunderstandings and fostering deeper connections. It also allows us to empathize with others as we become more attuned to their feelings and experiences. This empathy enriches our relationships, making them more fulfilling and meaningful. Stepping back also provides us with the clarity needed to evaluate our current relationships. We often find ourselves in situations where we feel obligated to maintain connections, even if they don't serve our well-being. By taking time for introspection, we gain perspective on these dynamics. We can assess whether the people in our lives uplift us or bring us down, whether they respect our boundaries or constantly test them. This evaluation is not about judgment. It's about self-preservation and ensuring that we surround ourselves with individuals who contribute positively to our lives. In this process, it's essential to acknowledge the role of boundaries. Stepping back allows us to set healthy limits with others, ensuring that we protect our emotional space. By defining what we are comfortable with and communicating those boundaries clearly, we create an environment where respect and understanding flourish. This is crucial because it empowers us to engage in relationships where our needs are met without compromising our well-being. Another critical aspect of self-awareness is understanding our personal growth journey. When we step back from the constant hustle and bustle, we can reflect on how far we've come and where we want to go. This clarity helps us align our relationships with our aspirations. Are the people in our lives supporting our growth? Are they encouraging us to chase our dreams, or do they hold us back? By reflecting on these questions, we can make informed decisions about who we choose to keep close. Additionally, self-awareness encourages us to embrace vulnerability. Many people shy away from being vulnerable due to fear of judgment or rejection. However, true connections are forged through vulnerability. When we step back and embrace our authentic selves, we invite others to do the same. This authenticity creates a safe space for meaningful conversations, fostering trust and intimacy in our relationships. As we become more self-aware, we also learn to celebrate our individuality. Society often pressures us to conform, to fit into predefined molds, and to chase after superficial connections. By stepping back and embracing who we truly are, we become more confident in our identity. This confidence naturally attracts the right people, those who appreciate us for our uniqueness and encourage us to be our best selves. Moreover, self-awareness allows us to recognize patterns in our relationships. Often, we find ourselves repeating the same dynamics with different people. By taking a step back, we can identify these patterns and understand their origins. This awareness enables us to break free from cycles that no longer serve us, paving the way for healthier and more fulfilling connections. It's also vital to acknowledge that this journey of self-awareness is ongoing. Life is a continuous process of learning and growing. As we evolve, our understanding of ourselves deepens, and so does our capacity to form meaningful relationships. By committing to regular self-reflection, we remain attuned to our needs and desires, adapting our connections accordingly. Finally, let's remember that the act of stepping back is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to our strength. It takes courage to pause and reflect, especially in a society that glorifies constant action and engagement. By embracing this practice, we affirm our commitment to our well-being and to cultivating genuine connections. In conclusion, as we step back, stay silent, and allow ourselves to observe, we open the door to profound self-awareness. This journey enables us to understand our emotions, set healthy boundaries, and attract the right people into our lives. By investing in ourselves and embracing our true selves, we create a fulfilling life that aligns with our values and aspirations. So take that step back. It's in the silence that you'll often find the answers you seek.